We're going to start things off today with Philipp Albrecht. He is from the European Parliament. He's going to maybe give us an introduction into what we're going to be talking about today, and that is, of course, artificial intelligence. So Philipp, it is yours. Take it away. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, everybody, and thank you for following the invitation here to this conference this morning on robotics and artificial intelligence, which, of course, is an issue which for many people out there, and also for politicians who represent the people, as we do in the European Parliament, this is more or less an issue which is very vague, very far future, very much science fiction still. But nonetheless, throughout the last years, or at least throughout the last year, also the political level and the regulator side has started to very concretely discuss about the implications of developments in the field of robotics and artificial intelligence, in particular artificial intelligence, machine learning, with regard to several questions. First of all, the first question which politicians ask is, if we get self-driving cars, who will be responsible for when the self-driving car runs over my feet? So the big question of liability in times of autonomous machines and systems is coming up very pressingly to the regulator's desk. But of course also the big questions on ethical borders or ethical safeguards in these developments. Not the least in the field, for example, of military development, where it is about the question, how do we deal with autonomous systems in conflicts? How do we deal with the question if a human intervention perhaps is not taking place anymore in these situations, where it's also about ethical conflicts which we have as humans together. So there's the broad range of questions, and you have in between the whole question about security standards, about how to deal with personal data being processed by machines more and more on humans. How do we deal with the interaction between these machines and between machines and humans in the all-day life? And all these questions came to our desk, and I'm very happy that you will see today, besides me, also another member of the European Parliament who is sitting there, Madi Delvaux. She's from France, a colleague of mine. I'm from Germany, so you have two of the 751 members of the European Parliament here. Those of the few which started to deal with these issues throughout the last year, and also a bit before, after the last elections. And we managed, under the leadership of Madi Delvaux, to get an initiative report voted in the European Parliament just some weeks ago, where we call on the European Commission to investigate into all these questions, which we will also be discussing today, and to make proposals for regulations in these fields, at least where it is necessary. Because we still, of course, need to discuss, do we need new rules? Do we need to adjust the existing frames? Or do we also just have to live with the rules we have in the times of autonomous machines? That is, of course, our viewpoint as regulators, but there are so many questions also for society to discuss, and therefore I'm very happy that we managed, together with the CeBIT, to set up this conference, which goes from the look into what's the state of the technology, where are we, what is the outlook for what's possible already today in the first panel, and giving us examples on artificial intelligence and robotics being being brought out to society and to the markets already today. Then discussing on a second panel the general ethical questions which are raised, which are big, and where we have to discuss about many situations which are completely new for us and which will be very soon there. It's hard to believe that those things which we talk about are coming already on the market tomorrow, but I think it is the case, and we need to face that, and we need to discuss it now. And last but not least, again, what do we draw out of it in the sense of which regulation is needed in several areas, in private sector regulation, but also, for example, when it comes to the use of those technologies, for example, for police, for military, as I said, also for other areas where it's important for the public to set some standards. I just learned that some months ago, there has been the first hedge fund started off who's based only on an artificial intelligence algorithm. So there's no human anymore deciding on the investments of this fund. And the question, what happens if this causes the next banking crisis, is something which we also should discuss, of course, when it comes to those regulatory safeguards. I don't want to answer all these questions now. I want to listen, and I'm very happy that there are so many people with me here and with us together to discuss and to listen. And therefore, I hand over and back again to Bernd Goff. Thank you for moderating this day, and for all the panelists, which I'm very grateful that they agreed to come here. Thank you.